Alright, so what we'll do, we were doing before last week, or last week was lesson 9. Let's do a little bit of the verb practice, and then we'll continue with lesson 9, inshallah. Alright, so if you have the verb sheet out, this one, or you can look on with someone, that's fine. Okay. Alright, so we've done both the past and the present tense, right? Which one did we do first? Like, which one did we learn first? The past or the present?
Past.
The past, right?
Yeah.
So past is he did, or they did, or she did some action in the past. What's the same in all of the past tense? Like if I have nazara, let's say, what's nazara? He saw or he looked. Okay. So when I'm making this for past tense, first of all, how many pronouns are there that I have to account for?
14.
There's 14, right? So he, 2 of them, 3 or more, all the way down to I and we. Okay. So what stays the same in the past tense? I'm talking about the harakas. So you have nazara, which is for he looked. Right? So what's 2 of them looked? Nazara, right? So I just do the same word and I add an alif there. And what is it for 3 or more? Nazaru, right? So I have nazara, and then I have nazaru, right? So in the word nazara, what's not changing? What harakas are not changing? The fa and the ayn kalima, right? The first root and the second root are not changing, right? Even when I get down to so let's keep going. What's she looked? Nazarat, right? So I still have the noon and the la both have fatha, and then for 2 of the females looked. Nazarata. Okay, but what happens as soon as I get to hunna?
Third radical gets sukun.
Third radical gets sukun. So nazar, I get nazarna. Okay, so you see that on after hunna, the third root will have a sukun. But the first 2 will not change, okay? So this is what the important part is. The first 2 roots in the past tense for these salim verbs, they don't change. So you can do it with raka'a, raka'a, raka'u, raka'at, raka'ata, raka'na. But the third root will get a sukoon, okay? So let's do nazara until the end, okay? Nazara, nazara, nazaru, nazarat, nazarata, nazarna, nazarta, nazartuma, nazartum, nazarti, nazartuma, nazartunna, nazartu, ana is nazartu, and nahnu nazarna. Okay? What is she looked? Nazarat. And we looked? Nazarna. And you all looked, a group of men? Nazartum. Right, nazartum. Antum, nazartum. Anta? Nazarta. Okay. And then we did present tense. So what happens in present tense?
You have to add ya.
You have to add a ya or a ta or an alif or a noon, right? What's this ya called? Actually, I don't think we've learned that. But it's called the sign of presence. Alamatul mudari is the sign of being present, okay? What happens to the first root letter? It gets a sukoon. And then what happens to the second root?
Then we have to look at the column.
Then you have to see the column, right? Which column it is, because they're all in different columns. There's 6 columns here. There's actually more columns. I think there's total 9 different combinations it can be, or 10 maybe. But nazara is in the first column, which means that it's AU. which means that in the past tense, the second root has a
Fatah.
fatha, a second root fatha, and in the present, the second root has a
Sukun. Sorry, Dhamma.
dhamma, right, dhamma. So this is past, and this is present. Okay? So the second root is dha, right? Because nazara, 1, 2, 3, the second root is dha. So we're gonna put a dhamma here, yanzu, and then for the he looks, it always ends in dhamma. Okay, yanzu. And then what would it be for two of them are looking? Yanzurani, right? Yanzurani. Okay. And then, so this is for dual. So notice how the ra changes, but this is because you have an alif. So the alif of muthanna, of dual, has come, so that means the letter before it, you can't pronounce it unless it has a fatha, right? If this stayed on a dhamma, you couldn't pronounce it, right? So this is the thing with Arabic, that whenever you have a long vowel like alif or waw or ya, like a stretchy vowel, the letter before this has to have a fatha, the letter before the waw has to have a dhamma, and the letter before the ya has to have a kasra. Okay? So this is why this changes, not because the ra just changes to a fatha, the dhamma changes to a fatha. Okay? You have to pronounce it. Alright, what is now they are looking? Yanzu? Yanzuruna, excellent. Yanzuruna. Yanzuruna. Okay. And notice how the ra has the dhamma back, right? Because what is the long vowel now? So wow, right? So you need to have the ra having a dhamma. All right. What happens when you get to she is looking? Tanzuru, right? So the ya now it becomes a ta. So the ya and ta and alif and nun are the four letters that are going to denote that it's present tense. Tanzuru. Okay. Alright, and what's two of them females are looking? Tanzurani. Okay. Okay, I'll just not write that. But what is now hunna? Yanzurna. So yanzurna is that third column that I gave out. So for hunna it switches back to ya. Yan. And then the second, and then the third root, the ra, gets a sukoon. Yanzurna. Okay, and this is, what column is this in? Anybody know?
What column?
You remember those three columns?
Yeah, last one.
Yeah,
Last
which column is that? Mabni column. Mabni means?
Mabni means
Not changing.
Doesn't change. And we'll learn, we haven't learned what that means, but we'll learn what that means, okay? Yanzurna means, yanzurna is mabni, okay? Alright, now what's anta? Tanzuru, right? So exactly the same as hiya, it just is, okay? So the ta, now the ta comes back, tanzuru, okay? Then tanzurani, tanzuruna, for hiya, tanzurina. So for anti it comes tanzurina, and then tanzurani, and then tanzurna, antunna and hunna is like, they're both tanzurna. What's ana? Anzuru, nahnu, nanzuru, and you can do the 5 in your pocket, right? Yanzuru, tanzuru, tanzuru, anzuru, nanzuru. Okay? So those are the easy ones. Alright. So what we'll do is on Wednesday, I'll just have each of you practice maybe with each other or maybe out loud the verb. So we just did a review for that. Alright, so let's go to lesson 9, and then we'll do a little bit of a review, and then we'll see how far we get.
Lesson 9,
We're in the back reading the
yeah.
English. Yeah. Actually, for that book, I don't think it's in the back, right? It's in the front, or it is in the back.
No, it should be at the end of 9. Yeah. points to remember.
Alright, so we did last week the first point, right? We did number 1, but let's go over it again just to review. The first point was, what, does anybody remember? Can anybody read it quickly and try and summarize it?
Ending of the sound, feminine plural, there's a
Feminine.
jadid, okay, it's banati and abna, yeah, the objects.
Just take a second to read it.
Nasi. Feminine will be sounded feminine.
Objects of the verbs are mansub. Right? Banati, that is feminine.
Can anybody say just what the main point of number 1 was?
Yeah, so basically, we know that the subject is always mansub,
Mm-hmm.
but in feminine case,
Mm-hmm.
it is not mansub, it becomes, it has a kasra. The
It
subject
is mansub, but why does it have a kasra?
Because the feminine.
Plural.
Because it's a feminine plural. Right, anything that is feminine plural, sound feminine plural, and we'll learn what sound is. Sound feminine plural has a kasra when it is mansub. So we don't say it's not mansub, we just say that it's mansub but with a kasra. Okay, because if you remember the last class when I said, if I want to say qalamun, which means what? Pen, right? Then this is marfu' form, right? Because this is marfu' and it has a fatha, a dhamma, right? What if I want to say 2 pens? Qalamani. Okay, I add an ani. Qalamani. Actually, no, this is not what I wanted to do.
Al-kalam, I think. No?
Yeah. No. I wanted to do plural, sorry. So qalam, what's the plural of qalamun?
Aqlam.
Aqlamun, right? Aqlamun. Aqlamun, like this. Okay? Aqlamun is pens and this is marfu'. When I want to make it to mansub, then I just put 2 fathas. Or let me actually do it here. So aqlaman, or actually it's going to have a fatha. And then when I want to make it majroor, I'm going to say aqlam min. Okay? Alright, what's the plural of, what's the word for watch in Arabic? Sa'atun, right? Sa'atun. And how do I make it plural? How do I say watches?
Sa'atun.
Sa'atun. Excellent. Sa'atun. Because the way that you make a sound plural for something that's feminine is you add an alif ta. And that ta is not like this ta, right? It's not the rolled up ta. Sa'atun. Okay? What they're saying, the whole point of this lesson, the point number 1, is that when I want to make sa'atun mansub, I can't say sa'atan. Okay? Because it doesn't, that's not how, in the Arabic language, it's not going to get a fatha. It's going to be mansub, but it's going to get a kasra. Okay? That's all they're saying. Same thing with majroor. Majroor is actually, it's easy because in majroor it's kasra here and it's going to be kasra here. So the only difference is that the mansub form is going to not have a fatha, it's going to have a kasra. Okay?
That's the rules.
That's the rule. You can't, that's how it was spoken, that's how we're learning it. Can't really make too much sense of it. Okay? So let's read one example.
Brother is akhun, right?
Akhun.
When it become plural is ikhwatun. So where does that come from?
That's a special, that's a broken plural. So remember some of the plurals, they have a ta marbuta. Even though they're masculine, ikhwatun is brothers, but it has a feminine ending. And that's just one form of the broken plural. Another example for that is kitabun, no, that's kutubun. Jadidun, that's judun. There's other examples where the masculine singular has a the masculine plural has a ta marbuta at the end, but it's still masculine. It's those weird.
Maktatun? No.
Yeah, but that's singular. We're talking about the broken plural, something that's masculine in the singular form, but when it becomes plural, it doesn't become feminine, but it just gets a ta marbuta. Let's read one example really quickly. The last sentence on this point before it jumps to number 2, it says, Inna talibati fil hafilati. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Inna talibati fil hafilati. So inna is a harf of tawqeed, and to emphasize something, right? And the ism inna is always mansoob. It gets a fatha if it's a regular noun. But because you have talibatun, right, which is a sound feminine plural, you can't say talibatan, you have to say talibatin or talibati. Yeah, it's definite, so you can't, it's a talibati. Alright, what's hafilat?
Bus.
Buses, right? So they're in the female students are in the buses. So what's the plural? What's the singular for hafilat? Hafilatun, right? So this is the same pattern. Hafilatun. When you want to make it plural, you just add an alif ta'atun. Hafilatun. All right. What fil hafilati, is that mansoob, majroor, or mansoob?
Mansoob.
No.
No, that's majroor because
It's
of
majroor because of
fi.
fi, right? Ism harf jar, ism majroor. Jar wa majroor. So they're showing here that talibati is mansoob and it has a kasra, and hafilati is majroor and it has a kasra. So they're showing both the rules here for mansoob and majroor. Okay. So if you didn't learn this, you would think that talibati and hafilati are both what? Majroor. They're both majroor because they both have kasra, right? But now that we've learned that this is the exception that sound masculine, sound feminine plurals have, then now you would know that, okay, this is mansoob, but it has a kasra. Alright, let's go on to number 2. Brother Nazmul, do you want to read?
Number 2. We have learned that ra'aytuka means I saw you, and ra'aytuhu means I saw him. Now we learn the use of the pronoun of the first person, me. Note the following. Ra'aytani, you saw me. Khalaqani Allahu.
Khalaqani Allah.
Khalaqani Allahu. Allah created me. Sa'alani al-mudarrisu.
Okay, so what we're just learning is that when you add a ya mutakallim, the I, as the object of a verb, there is a noon that's added so that the ya doesn't change the whole word. Okay? So this ya is the pronoun of I, right? So if I want to say I saw him, it says ra'aytuhu, right? I saw you, ra'aytuka. I saw, what's 2 of you? I saw 2 of you. Ra'aytu kuma. Ra'aytu kuma, right? We're going to review the pronouns again, inshallah. When you get to me, you have a ya mutakallim. That ya mutakallim is usually, like we said, an anchor. It brings everything down, right? So if you tried to say you saw me, that first example, رأيتني, without that noon, you would turn it into رأيتي, right? So that ya would just drag down that ta. So this is why you put in a noon in the middle between the verb and the object, so that you separate between those two.
That's what I was worried where the noon came from.
This is in the Quran, right?
So it's only noon, no other
No other
letters.
letter, right? This is called, if you look down below, it says, this noon is called the noon of protection, noonul wiqaya. So this has a special name, it only exists because it protects the final vowel of the verb from omission. If we didn't have this, the verb would sound weird, like khalaqi Allahu. You would say khalaqi, it wouldn't make sense, khalaqi. So you have to say khalaqani. And sa'alani would be sa'ali. Okay? So that's the only rule that's there. It's in the Quran, like
So only it's used when you have used yeah.
only when it's with yeah, exactly.
In
Only
the
when
first
it's with
person.
yeah. So when the object is me, is the ya mutakallim, then it's used. And then they explain why what we just explained. All right, number 3, Brother Anwar, do you want to read it?
Yeah. How to say in Arabic, how beautiful is this car? What a beautiful car this is. This is expressed in Arabic by ma ajmala hazar
هذه
hazihi sayarata.
سيارة
Sayaratu, no, it is sayarata.
سيارة. Yeah, sorry. ما أجمل هذه السيارة.
This is called as fa'al,
فعل
fa'al,
التعجب.
at-tajud. That is the verb of wonder, and has the form of ma af'aluhu.
ما أفعله.
Ma af'alahu. One can use the pronoun who or any other pronoun in the accusative or replace it by a mansub noun, that is ma ataika.
Okay, let's hold on there. All right. فعل التعجب. تعجب means wonder, right? Wonder. So
We
it's the
have the
fair.
word.
Yeah, تعجب, ajib, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So ta'ajjub is just wonder, okay? So if you want to say, this is just an expression in Arabic, like how beautiful, or how big, or how small, or how lazy, or how hardworking. The whole form is af'ala, okay? And this form has come with other words before, but this is the only form that exists. Af'ala, ma af'ala, okay? How whatever. So this af'ala can be substituted with any 3-letter verb, or obviously one that makes sense. So if you want to say how many are the, let's say, students or whatever, what verb would you use?
Ma.
The verb.
Oh, verb.
What's the verb for many? To be many. Or what about to be, how about old? What's the verb for old? The word for old.
Zaif, like,
No.
How do you say new?
Jadid.
Jadid. How do you say old?
Kadimun.
Qadimun, right?
Qadim.
So qadimun is from the verb qadama.
Forgot, we need to renew.
Yeah, you need to review all those words from book 1.
Yeah.
Qadimun means new, but the 3-letter root that comes from qadimun is qadama, right? And what's the word for many? Is kathir,
Kathir.
right?
Oh,
Kathir.
Qadar.
Kathir. And the 3 letters are kaf, thin, tha, and ra. Right? So if I want to say how many, I have to put it in this pattern. I'm going to have to say ma akthara. Ma akthara. Ma akthara. And if I want to say how old, I say ma aqdama. I'm trying to remember where in the Quran this is coming. ما فما أصبرهم على النار I think I have to look it up.
So in English also the exclamation is done like this. What a beautiful sky. So ma
Yeah.
stands could be standing.
What
for
a
one.
beautiful sky. What? Yeah, ma ajmala. Right. So jamil, you would say ma ajmala. What would it be for kabir?
كده ما أقدر
Ma akbara. Ma akbara.
كبير
What would it be for alim? Knowledgeable.
ما أعلم
Ma a'lama. Right? How knowledgeable. If you want to say like how knowledgeable is this person, you say ma a'lama.
This is good.
So, and then if you want to, whatever the thing that you're talking about comes after is going to be mansub, is going to be accusative. Okay, so
We also have to put an exclamation sign right at the end.
you don't have to. That's just
Then-
English.
Uh,
The exclamation sign is English. It's
yeah,
not.
they put it though.
Yeah, they did it, but it's for English that you say. How.
We use this word very frequently in our country.
What?
Tajjub ki baat.
Tajjub ki baat. Yeah, tajjub. Tajjub. Yeah. And then the examples they give are ma atyabuka, how good you are. So basically they just put the pronouns and attach it to that word. Ma afqaraha, how poor she is. Ma akthara an-nujuma, how numerous are the stars. Ma ashala hadha ad-dars, how easy is this lesson. Right? Sahlun is easy. Right? What's hard? I said, what's difficult? So easy is sahlun, and hard is sa'bun. Not sabun, sa'bun. Okay. So if I wanted to say how hard is this lesson, what would I say? Ma
as'abun.
as'aba. Ma as'aba.
Lugat al-Arabiya ma
Ma
sa'bu.
as'aba. No, ma ashala lughat al-Arabiyya. Ma ashala. Okay, I'm going to give homework for Wednesday, just for what we've done with this one. So lesson 9, do exercises.
Reading?
No, it's not reading. I think it's fill in the
We
blanks.
didn't read.
Yeah, well, I know, but we're going to... Let's see. So do exercise number 6. So exercise number 6 is just the fi'l al-ta'ajjub, the one that we just learned. It says اقرأ الأمثلة, read the examples, ثم اكتب الجملة الآتية, then write the following sentences مستعملا فعل التعجب, using the fi'l of wonder. So they have the 3 examples, then you get to do 10 more. Okay? جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.
What is it? I remember.
Exercise number 6.
What?